Hello, everybody. Welcome to my weird and wonderful world. And before I begin, I just want to calmly s- tell you that this is the second time I'm doing this video. I did a version of this earlier where I recorded outside. Gorgeous, beautiful day. I had a whole beautiful 20-minute video done up for you and everything. Come inside to post it, and somehow, I don't know why, it got corrupted or whatever, and I can play it on my phone, but when I go to try to transfer it onto my phone to my computer for some reason, it's not letting me do it. It will take forever to load, and it's just saying that it's being corrupted for some stupid reason and won't transfer. So yeah, I had to redo this whole video again for you. But it's a special video, and it's one that I'm happy to do it all again because I can probably perfect it a little bit, and I'm probably just a little bit more comfortable in here doing this for you. But I went through my list, okay, because okay, now I had said it all perfect outside, but I'm gonna redo this again. So I'm talking about we are the 20 like these movies are 25 years old, turning 25 years this year. And so 1999, and I am saying this in my opinion, this is my personal feelings on the matter. But I had have discussions with certain people here and there about this, and most people actually agree with me. But you tell me if you agree or not. And if you disagree, let me know which year you think is a better year for movies. But for me personally, 1999 was the last year for what I consider decent movies, like that were solidly made. It's the last great year of heartfelt movies, movies that were just before studios start meddling. After 2000, studios, not saying that they haven't meddled before in the movie making process, but but studios kind of stepped in, and movies became way more franchise. You started seeing a whole bunch more of sequels and spin-offs and stuff. Now, this list I'm about to go through, okay, is not the entire list of every movie that came out in 1999, but I just jotted down some noteworthy ones, the ones that I noticed and ones that I think have a little bit more meaning than most of the other ones. And these all these movies combined, okay, is what I feel makes 1999 the best year for movies, regardless, of how innovative newer movies have become. Like some people say, "Oh, the Marvel movies are the greatest things that ever been made. They're top quality, special effects are top notch, and blah blah blah." No, no, no. I will always say that 1999 is for me, again, for me personally, it's the best year. So let me go through this list, okay? Now, I am going to start off by mentioning the top 10. The top 10 and the studios for these top 10s in box office sales of 1999. And that goes, okay, so at number one, the top movie sales of 1999 is for Star Wars Episode One: The Phantom Menace. Fox, of course, 20th Century Fox, and that did 924 million plus million dollars in the box office that year. It got and of course it became very polarizing and very divisive, that movie. And next month, on its anniversary, on its 25th birthday of the theatrical release of that movie, I am going to do a very special episode where I talk about the Phantom Menace. I'm going to talk about my feelings about the Phantom Menace. I'm going to talk about, yeah, I'll give a little bit more in-depth view of the Phantom Menace, but that will come next month on its birthday, on his 25th birthday. But let's continue. And I'm going to go through this a little quicker this time. Okay. Number two is The Sixth Sense. It's Buena Vista, and that did 670 million plus. Okay, 72 plus million. Toy Story 2 at number three, another Buena Vista movie, did 511 plus million at the box office that year. Number four, which is I don't know, in some ways I still think it's the better movie, and I kind of like it, even though I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I still think that The Matrix at number four, Warner Brothers, is still a better movie than The Phantom Menace. And that only did 465 million that year. Then you get number five, Tarzan Buena Vista at 448 million. Number six, The Mummy Universal at 416 million. Notting Hill at number seven, Universal again at 363 million. The World Is Not Enough, James Bond 007 at number 8. That's MGM or UIP, United, whatever. And that's at 361 million sales that year. American Beauty, which is at number 9, DreamWorks, that's at 356 million. And then there's Austin Powers, Spy Who Shagged Me at number 10. And that's New Line Cinema. And that was at 312 million. So those were the top 10 movies of 1999. And for top 10s, you can't go wrong. Those are really strong top 10s. Even the Phantom Menace, which I will get to, like I say, next month. But we're talking about movies that are having their 25th birthday this year. Their 25th birthday of, what I consider the last. Maybe not, maybe might be debatable whether it is the greatest year of movies ever, but I think it is. I've been like the more I think about it, and I think of other years for movies, and 1999 always seems to come back to my mind as being that one perfect year for movies that had. There's so many great movies that came out that year. Now beyond the top 10, I'm going to name another 20 something, 27, almost 30 more movies that deserve it, attention. Now I'm not these are not all the movies. Mind you, I know I'm skipping over. There's probably a few movies that I have not that's not on my list that I could mention. I noticed there's one that's is it on here? I don't see it. Yeah, there's a movie. I know there's a movie that came out that year that I don't have on my list, but I know it came out that year, and that would be Varsity Blues. But that's just the top of my head of something I remembered. I know that came out that year. That I don't know how many million it made that year, but let's go through the list, okay? And as I go through each one of these, picture in your mind how great these movies are, and all different genres. And if I'm skipping over a movie that year that you really loved, let me know down in the comments below. I like to hear what you consider a great movie of 1999. But let's get into it. So at 100, and these are in no particular order exactly, but there is a tiny order, but that does not matter for this list. Okay, so at 104 million that year, Eyes Wide Shut, Stanley Kubrick. Then at 32 million, we have Lake Placid. Then at 97 million, we got Inspector Gadget. And I grew up on Inspector Gadget, and who knew that Matthew Broderick would actually play a really great Inspector Gadget, top notch. I like that movie. I have a little bit of a guilty pleasure for that one. And then, of course, at 31 million, there's the Iron Giant. And yeah, that classic. I really love the Iron Giant, cult classic. Basically, it should have did better, but it was overshadowed by so many great movies that this year. I'm skipping over this one for now. I'm gonna say that one for the last. There's Being John Malkovich came out in 1999. That did 32 million in the box office, and again, underrated. I really love that movie. I think it's fun and just like out of all people to do a movie about, being somebody, you got to be John Malkovich out of all people. Genius, I think. Now, this one here is going to not particularly a movie that I like, but it is a monumental movie for the people who are fans of this particular thing. And I kind of was just behind the times on it. Like, I was just a little too old to appreciate this. So I never ever got into this as, but it is an important movie and deserves to be mentioned. So I'm going to go with Pokemon, the first movie, which did 163 million at the box office in 1999. So that's pretty monumental and worth saying. And in it, so even though it's not one of my favorite movies by any means, it still displays how important and awesome 1999 was. I mean, okay, just for the Phantom Menace alone, going back on that for a second, just for the Phantom Menace alone, all the ingenuitive, you know, technologies that got developed to bring, like, even though if you even how much you might hate the guy, to bring Jar Jar Binks to life, to bring that Gungan to life. And that, like, he was the first full CGI character to ever exist, like that. I mean, he paved the way for Gollum and so many others. And yeah, but Pokemon, at 43 million, this next one is again another little controversial movie that I think, but I love it, is Dogma. Kevin Smith, Dogma. These ones here did a little bit better in the box office. This first one here did 207 million in the box office, and this is Sleepy Hollow with Johnny Depp and Christopher Walken and so on and so forth, and Christina Ricci. Awesome movie, well deserving of 207 million in the box office. Probably could have did better, should have probably did better, but again, it got overshadowed. Like, even its next one, Arnold Schwarzenegger, End of Days, did 212 million, slightly better than Sleepy Hollow. Yeah, a whole another page, another list there. This next one did 206 and 296 in the box office, and that's the Green Mile, the Stephen King adapted, you know, movie, The Green Mile. Yeah, so it's nothing to scoff at. And even this next one, which I'm going to kind of jump in the list here, because it's also like 298, just 2 million more than the Green Mile, was Little Stewart with Michael J. Fox doing the voice as a little tiny mouse, basically an animated mouse. But that did 298 million in 1999. So it's again another monumental movie for that year. Then again at 88 million, you had the Cider House Rules. You had at 92 million Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo, which again not a fan of, and it's one of those movies like, okay, but it did 92 million, and it's worth noting. So it came out in 1999, just to add a little bit more diversity to the mix. And then you got Bicentennial Man, which did 87 million, which is Robin Williams. And I really loved that movie and thought it was a bit underrated. So then you got Magnolia at 48. And yeah, I'm not going to go too much into that one because I know a little bit about it, but not enough to form an opinion. But still is one that I noticed that it is on people's, like, list of movies that they love. So Magnolia is on there. Then you got Girl Interrupted at 48 million. There's that football movie, Any Given Sunday, at 100 million, you know, box office that takens that year. in 1999. Again, all 1999. The Andy Kaufman biopic Man on the Moon came out in 1999. There's Galaxy Quest that 90 million that year, which is a parody of like programs like Star Trek and such. So, which is awesome. You know, is again a monumental movie for that year. The Talented Mr. Ripley, to name another one. That's Galaxy Quest did 90 million. Yeah, the Talented Mr. Ripley did 128 million. So it did really well. You know, the Hurricane. I think that's the about the boxer that did 73 million at the box office. So not bad. Payback, that Mel Gibson revenge movie, did 161 million in the box office. So that's pretty good. Blast from the Past, which I believe is that Brandon Fraser. I mean, he already had The Mummy that year, and then he comes out with Blast from the Past. Although it did only 26 million, I still remember it fondly as a great movie that I enjoyed. So then there's 8 Millimeter, that Nicolas Cage movie that also came out in 1999. You know, which it did 96 million in the box office. So not bad. Then there's that comedy with Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro of Analyze This, and that did 176 millions in the box office. So again, that's nothing to scoff at. That's pretty decent and well deserved. Cruel Intentions did 76 millions in the and the second to last one, before I get to the grand finale of this whole list, we have Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels at 28 million. And then the my number one choice, okay, and in 1999, which also biasly, okay, makes that year my favorite year for movies and the best year for movies. Not only because of the Phantom Menace, Matrix, The Mummy, uh, Bond, The World's Not Enough, The Spy Who Shagged Me, and so many other like Iron Giant and and a few others here. I'm not going to continue naming that this movie rose to the top of the list. And if you know me by now, if you watch my other episodes that I made, you know what my favorite movie of all time is. It's been my favorite movie of all time since 1999. I rave about it. It's yeah, I own it on and I own it. Yeah, I'm just going to show you actually. And so I own it in one of the few. I have a couple of other, but this is one of the few steel books I have, and it's a 2 disc set. So here we go. So as we come up to October 15th, which is the theatrical release of Fight Club in theaters, I didn't actually get to see Fight Clubs in theaters. I saw it a few months later when it came out on DVD, and my I was at my brother's friends, and we were and he had the box set, like not like this but something similar, but it had the wrapping rope on it, and it came with a bar of soap, the original box set that has all the same content that this has, but this is the steel book, which I'm glad to have, but mine didn't come with a bar of soap. But yeah, as we come up to that 25th birthday of Fight Club, the theatrical release of it, yeah, I will be talking a little bit more and more about this movie maybe, but definitely on October 15th I will be noting it, and I will be talking about this. I will be making a special 25th anniversary episode about Fight Club. But next month, like I said, I'm making a special 25th birthday episode of Phantom Menace also. So look forward to that. I'm not going to do any others. I might do Matrix. I got to find out again when that came out. I may have missed the date on that. But if I didn't, I will probably talk about the 25th anniversary of The Matrix when that comes around, but we'll see. So that is my argument to why I consider 1999 my favorite year of movies, but also the last, and I use the word last, best, greatest year for movies, where movies were still in that transition period between going between practical and CGI. They were just starting to perfect CGI in many respects. I mean, when you look at the many little CGI effects that there was in Fight Club, and you think, well, Fight Club has some CGI effects. It's like, yeah, they had a couple, and if somebody didn't really point them out to you, you may not even notice it. Although I I can tell, but most people probably wouldn't tell. But anyway, we're past the 20-minute mark. I'm going to get going, and I got to get ready for work soonish. Not quite yet, but soonish. And so, everybody, that's all I have to say. Just a quick little update that I look forward to me doing in either tomorrow or the next day. Some of my tutorials. About a week or so away from now, I'm going to do another hot chicken video. I might try to do another type of cooking, like a different recipe, something a little different, another cooking with Mo, but something a little different. I'll think about that. I don't know what yet, but we'll see. And so I don't really want to, I don't have anything else to say before I start babbling. I'm just going to let you go. You know how much I love you all out there. You're all awesome, excellent. I'm going to, yeah. So, as always, please be safe. Take care. I will see you on the flip side. And please, everyone, have a great day, evening, night, wherever you may be. Peace, everybody.